I mean, they're succeeding in a civil war right now in Russia. I mean, yeah, the globalists hijacked the most powerful country in the world with all our ingenuity and all our money and all our power, and the world's in deep trouble. And again, it's not like I'm saying China or Russia are good either. It's just a monstrous situation. And if people don't get serious and get out of their comfort zones, I think they're going to demonize him, indict him. And then I think they'll blow his airplane up. I really, at a gut level, believe they're going to kill Trump.
Who's this? Trump?
I believe the deep state establishment will murder him.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We're gonna get right into this very well put together segment from Benny Johnson. And shout out to that guy, true patriot right there. But this segment is going to be covering the possible attempt of an assassination on Donald Trump, either before the elections, during the elections, after elections, just, basically sometime pretty soon. So let's watch this this segment together, and then I'll give my take on it at the end of the video. But before we do, guys, please make sure to hit the like button down below. Let's get right into it.
You are trying to uphold a system that is unbelievably unpopular with the American people. And if there is a populist candidate that, of course, defines what people want, what are you going to do? That man is an existential threat to you and everything you've built. Well, Tucker Carlson has said regularly that Donald Trump might be assassinated by these evil forces, and also that they've done this before with John F. Kennedy. Tucker Carlson's the only man who's really done this reporting, and we thought that we should ask him about that in our X Spaces that we hosted last night. Tucker Carlson was live on X with us last night, and it now has been listened to by nearly 4 million people. So, what happens next for Donald Trump? He is obviously a threat to the regime. They can't allow that threat to continue. Tucker Carlson responds, and this is pretty dark. Listen.
So they're obviously going to see X as a platform. They're going to try and take X offline and metaphorically assassinate X. You've spoken at length in multiple situations about how you think that we are speeding towards assassination potentially for Donald Trump in his candidacy, because equally Donald Trump speaks hard truths that are uncomfortable for people, and also Donald Trump is a threat to the existing system. Do you really believe that we are on our way to a physical assassination attempt?
Well, I don't know what we're on the way to, but we're certainly on the way to something. I mean, one of, the great lie that we tell ourselves is that our lives in the world are static. They're not. They're always progressing towards something. We don't usually know what it is, but we're always on the road to somewhere. And you just sort of have to ask yourself logically, like, what's next? I mean, the amount of energy and money and time and public attention, all of which are precious commodities, the asshole community has taken to destroy Donald Trump is just astounding. I mean, it's honestly like the moonshot. In fact, they've expended more resources on destroying Trump than they did on getting a man to the moon, assuming you believe that actually happened, and I think it's in question. So it didn't work. That's the point. It didn't work. I mean, when they wanted to stop Bernie Sanders, remember, they kind of seemed to threaten his wife with criminal prosecution. Do you remember that? And all of a sudden, Bernie Sanders is on board with everything, and he stops whining about the billionaires, and he's actually friends with Goldman Sachs now. And like, Deutsche Bank isn't so bad, and like, I'm all in on the war in Ukraine, and of course we'll take refugees from Gaza. Like, they turned Bernie Sanders into a bitch, and they did that by applying pressure points, of course, which is what they always do. And they've done that to Trump at scale. We're going to put your son in jail. We're going to put your oldest son in jail. And Trump's like, yeah, f you. I mean, again, whatever you think of Trump, you don't have to like Trump or even agree with him to appreciate the remarkable resilience in the face of like every power center in the world opposing him, except for like the presidents of El Salvador and Hungary. Everybody's against Trump, and he's still standing. So that does raise the question, like, okay, what next? You indict him 4 times. You threaten him with life in prison. These are credible threats, by the way. His trial begins in the middle of the primary season in March, a few months from now. And the guy is still running, and he still appears to be unbowed. So, you're kind of reaching to the bottom of your bag of tricks, and you find it empty. And it's like, we're threatening you with life imprisonment. Call it off. Drop out. Pick a successor and leave. Retire. We'll leave you alone. He won't. So, like, what else are they going to do? I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing here, but, like, why wouldn't they kill him? Seriously.
It's worth noting that Tucker Carlson's asked Donald Trump this exact question before. How did Donald Trump respond to the Will you be assassinated? Question.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice, and now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody.
So Donald Trump saying, of course, these people are sick, savage animals, and Tucker Carlson being the only person who has ever really effectively exposed them, talking also about his reporting on the JFK assassination, as we mentioned in the live. The CIA did have involvement in the killing of JFK. JFK was going to scatter the CIA to the winds after shattering it into 1,000 pieces. And so that posed an existential threat to the regime. What is the regime writing about Donald Trump? Tucker Carlson, Trump's assassination conspiracy theory, explain where it started and who is pushing it. Oh, yes, first they call it a conspiracy theory. Then they write headlines like this: Trump faces assassination plot. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones alleges. Well, what do you mean, plot? They're literally writing headlines about this. Here's what happens if Donald Trump dies while running in the 2024 presidential election. These are the headlines they're writing. The fear of a looming Trump dictatorship, from the Washington Post. Molly Hemingway saying this genre, claiming Trump is Hitler, because he might do to Democrats what they are doing to us right now, should be given the assassination prep label, which is exactly what Matt Gaetz is doing, saying that the media is greenlighting a Trump assassination. They call him a conspiracy theorist. He's back on X. And Alex Jones is saying, yeah, man, we're going to face some hectic times here with the potential assassination of Donald Trump. And the only thing that scares me about this is that Alex Jones has been right about pretty much everything else. So have a listen.
Are they going to succeed to prevent him from running?
I mean, they're succeeding in a civil war right now in Russia. I mean, yeah, the globalists hijacked the most powerful country in the world with all our ingenuity and all our money and all our power, and the world's in deep trouble. And again, it's not like I'm saying China or Russia are good either. It's just a monstrous situation. And if people don't get serious and get out of their comfort zones, I think they're going to demonize him, indict him. And then I think they'll blow his airplane up. I really, at a gut level, believe they're going to kill Trump.
Who's this? Trump?
I believe the deep state establishment will murder him. I mean, I believe he's going to steadfast go through all this. He'll be 30 points ahead in the primaries. Nothing's going to stop him. And then they just, he dies of a heart attack because they poison him or they blow his airplane up. And I think, and Trump, by the way, has talked to Roger and others and said, I'm ready to die, I'm committed, I'm going all the way. So,
well, Alex Jones has been right about virtually everything else. So I don't know. At what point do you doubt? We, of course, pray that this isn't what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, these are the times that we live in. It is important to know who your enemy is. And, well, people who would kill to retain power, those have always been our enemies. That is the thing that defines the worst regimes on earth. Yeah. Are we the baddies? Stay based. Enjoy betting, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, there you have it. Now, if this video is not disturbing to you, then in my opinion, you're really just unpatriotic, to be honest. Because if you don't see what's exactly happening, and it's happening right in front of your face, you either don't care about this country or you're delusional. You're just lost in the sauce. You're brainwashed. You fell into the matrix of what these leftists, these Democrats, the mainstream liberal media want you to think. Because if you don't see what they're trying to do as far as taking Donald Trump out, which I hope in God we pray that this does not happen to this man, it shows you that it's falling right into their own agenda. This is how they take over the country, and this is what they want. They know that if this happens, that it's gonna turn this country into chaos. And you see the mainstream liberal media in these newspaper articles writing stories about how there might be an attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. It's crazy because why are they now saying there's gonna be violence towards him when he was the one that was actually going to enact the violence, right? See, they would have, in the past, they're always framing, if during the elections or during 2024, is that the conservatives, the right wing, the white supremacists, the extremists are going to be the one that's going to be violent, right? But now, all of a sudden, somebody is going to be violent toward Donald Trump. So we all know it's not going to be anybody from the right. It's going to be a leftist, right? But we also know that's not going to be the case because it would have already probably happened by now. If somebody wanted to take out Donald Trump, they would have already done it by now. So if that is what ends up happening, like a vigilante or a lone man or a lone gunman or whatever the case, nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe that. So that's going to turn this country into chaos automatically. And the Democrats and the elitists, the globalists, they already know that. And that's what they want. That's how they take over. They create martial law, and then they're going to enact their own one world government, their own, dictatorship, or whatever they decide to do, right? Right? So enact their globalist agenda, essentially. That's how they take over. That's how they do it, is by taking him out. But if that does happen, this is also proof that there is a deep state. This is proof. And they already know that it's going to prove that. And it's going to turn this country into chaos. So they're not worried about that. They know the consequences of what will happen if any of these scenarios were to play out. If anything happens to this man, nobody's going to believe that, some random act happened to Donald Trump. Like, if, what Alex said, if the airplane blows up or somebody, nobody's just going to be like, oh, it was a mere accident, right? It was a mechanical defect. Or nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe that. And the fact that they probably even think that people will shows you how dumb they think we are. Right? Nobody's going to believe that. We know y'all are responsible. And it's just, the writing is on the wall and nobody is seeing it, man. And it really just breaks my heart that this is going to be the case in this country. And, it's really disheartening. So it's going to be true Americans, true patriots that's going to save this country and stand up for the Constitution and stand up for what is right. Because, they're taking this shit over. And even if you're not a little bit of nervous, something's really not, something really wrong with you. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Not one of my favorite videos to make, but I just had to say what I had to say. But let me know what you think. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. Hit the like button down below. And of course, if you want more content, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell. See you on the next one. Peace.